All right, welcome back inside our proactive newsroom. And joining me now is Robert Bose. He is the CEO of Sintana Energy. And Robert, it's great to see you again. How are you?
Fantastic, Steve. Good to see you as well. Thanks for having me back. It's nice to be
Yeah,
here.
yeah, I thought it'd be a great opportunity to sort of do a bit of a catch up because obviously we're getting towards the middle part of the year, and I know the first half has been extremely busy and there's still a lot more to come. So thought I'd get everyone up to date on where you're at. So obviously one of the key pieces of news that you had was the acquisition that you made in Giraff Energy. So let's start there, and this is obviously a pretty key one.
Sure, absolutely. Yeah, as you know, Steve, that we just had an announcement out over the past couple of weeks that we had closed that acquisition. We had announced it earlier this year. That is the opportunity to make what will ultimately be a controlling interest equity investment in a company called Giraff. Giraff is partnered with Namcor, the national oil company of Namibia, on one of the few remaining licenses in the Orange Basin that isn't otherwise operated by a super major. So this is a tremendous opportunity for Sintana to extend not only the scope of its footprint in the world's most exciting exploration basin, but also the nature of our exposure. We will have a much more significant interest in this license. And are very much looking forward to utilizing our technical and operating capabilities that are growing in Namibia to work with Namcor to really unleash the value of this license. There's a very interesting kind of micro regional dynamic that's appearing here around kind of oil prospectivity. Some of the offset operators, including BW Energy and Shell and Rhino, are very focused on kind of the opportunity to develop oil-weighted resources on these shallow water licenses. And so we're just ecstatic to get working on that, and we think there'll be a lot of progress on that over the remaining balance of the year.
Okay, well, we look forward to hearing more about that. You also talked a bit about Chevron and the work that you've done with them in the past, and their sort of interest now in what you're doing and what they're doing, and that sounds like it's going to continue to sort of develop as the months and years roll on.
Absolutely. I mean, I think we highlighted this last time when we talked about a month and a half ago, the opportunity to expand what has been just an absolutely fantastic partnership with Chevron in Namibia is just huge. As you allude to, we've had a partnership with them on a license called PEL 90, which is located immediately west of PEL 83, home to the discoveries at Mopani, which were announced over the course of this year. So we are partnered with Chevron on that license, and they came into that partnership with us in 2022. And just I believe it was towards the beginning of Q2, we announced that we had expanded that partnership with them. They have joined us in a license called PEL 82, which is located in the Walvis Basin. We think this is one of the most advanced, most interesting opportunities outside of the Orange Basin, offshore Namibia. There's an extensive amount of geoscience and actually a couple wells that have been drilled onto this block, and they have joined us in that effort. Not only do we think it's just a great opportunity to continue to work with them on another really interesting opportunity, which I think we expect will demonstrate the expansion of the Orange Basin further north in Namibia, but as well deepens just as I said, an absolutely fantastic partnership that we have with Chevron in country. And we certainly look forward to doing more with them on both of those licenses over the next number of quarters. So it's again another fantastic development in terms of expanding our exposure and platform in Namibia.
Okay, let's talk a bit about exploration, Robert. You did have some news out recently about PEL 83. So let's begin there and then sort of lead into what's ahead. So let's talk about PEL 83 first.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, so over the course of the first two quarters of this year, we covered this last time, and your viewers may remember, Galp of Portugal, which is the operator of PEL 83, has made multiple announcements regarding multiple discoveries on PEL 83 at something called the Mopani prospect. There was two wells that were drilled. Each of them had multiple light oil discoveries and high quality sands. This all culminated with a drill stem test that was executed in March, the result of which was a flow that hit its infrastructure constrained limit of 14,000 barrels a day. The initial estimates of the original oil in place, just based on the two well program, are in excess of 10 billion barrels. This makes Mopane one of the largest offshore discoveries globally in history. It's just an absolutely fantastic outcome. It's been amazing for the basin, for the country, for the operators, and for us as an indirect participant in that exploration success. This occurs on the back of a lot of success that Shell and Total have had in the Orange Basin. Just to remind your viewers, there's been 15 wells that have been drilled offshore Namibia over the past 24 months. There's been 13 discoveries. In excess of 22 billion barrels of original oil in place have been discovered. So it's just been an absolutely fantastic couple of years in terms of the emergence of Namibia as the next great hydrocarbon province. And, to your sort of comment about, what this does in terms of what we see ahead, Galp has announced that they will be initiating a subsequent exploration campaign at Mopani. This is a 4-well campaign expected to be comprised of 2 exploration locations and 2 appraisal locations, which will further explore the sort of scope and extent of Mopani. It's a very large group of features, and so lots left to do in terms of sort of understanding its limits. And then as well, further appraise and ideally conduct additional flow tests to just continue to glimpse into the reservoir quality here. Critical outcomes and results in terms of thinking about, the commercialization of this world scale discovery. And so that program is on deck for to begin in Q4. So we hope and expect that wells will be spud kind of late November, early December. And that's contemporaneous with a separate exploration program that Chevron is expected to launch in Q4. That is a campaign to kick off on Pel 90, which is the license, as we said, which is located directly west of Pel 83. And so they expect to spud the first exploration well kind of in late November, early December. So it'll be 2 very high impact, very exciting, eagerly anticipated exploration programs that we are involved in kicking off in late Q4. So, as much as it's been an extremely busy and exciting start to the year, we think the balance of the year is shaping up to be equally exciting, and lots on deck as we kind of move through H2 2024.
Wow, it sounds like it's going to be very busy, lots of news flow as well, which means you and I will talk a lot. One last thing I just want to mention really quickly that I didn't have a chance to get you on for, but I think it's significant, is that the company was named the #1 energy company on the 2024 TSX Venture 50 list. So it's always nice to be recognized in these types of things, and obviously that's the hard work of yourself and the team, I would gather.
Many factors contribute to success, Steve, as you know, but certainly we've been very fortunate to have found ourselves in the right place at the right time with the right team and the right partners on an exchange where there is a high degree of interest in these types of stories. And so, a lot of things come together to make something like that happen. But it's been a tremendous go for Sintana, for our shareholders. And as I said, lots more ahead. But thank you. It's a very generous and kind comment. And, we're just very excited about what's happened and where we're headed. But thank you so much. It's been a tremendous accomplishment for sure.
Well, congratulations to you and the team. Robert, thanks so much. Good update. And it's going to be a busy one. So we'll talk again soon. Okay.
Looking forward to it, Steve. Thanks again.
All right. Robert Bose, the CEO of Sintana Energy.